Good afternoon, Slidell. Today is Wednesday, January the 13th. This is Mayor Greg Cromer signing back in with you again. It's good to be back in the saddle. As some of you may or may not be aware, nobody is immune to COVID. I experienced that myself and was tested positive on the 29th of December and have been quarantined for a couple of weeks now and back just this week in the office. So nobody is immune to this virus. So take all necessary precautions. We do have some things to talk about today briefly, and then we'll get to Dr. Preston, our coroner, and talk about the situation with COVID in the community. But first, I'd like to mention we have a big press right now to clean up the community. Keep Slidell Beautiful is working diligently. We have teams out picking up trash, picking up debris, but we need your help. We are not able to cover everything everywhere, and let's face it, the trash is going out quicker than we're getting it picked up. So we need you to be diligent. Pay attention to what's going on around you. If you see something and you can pick it up, grab it, get it picked up. Make sure and keep your litter with you when you're in your cars and vehicles. When you're exiting Burger King or McDonald's or Wendy's or Chick-fil-A, any of the fast food organizations, agencies. You know, a lot of them have garbage cans right by the exit, so you can throw your trash in there. If not, put it in the bag, keep it in your car, and dispose of it when you get to your office or your home or wherever. Just dispose of it properly. Our city is it's trashed. There's a lot of garbage around right now. We're making a big push to get it cleaned up, and we're working with the state and the parish outside agencies to get it done, but there's limited resources right now. One of the reasons is because of COVID. We're not able to put the inmates and the service hour people on the streets like we've been to help us pick up trash in the past. Hopefully we'll be able to get past that soon, but right now it's a problem, and I'm here asking for your help and assistance in helping us police up our community, our city, clean up and beautify, get us ready for the spring season, and you know, just kind of dress up a little bit. So you'll see our teams out. If you see them, blow a horn at them, wave at them, give them a thumbs up, encourage them, let them know we appreciate what they're doing, but also do your part. Assist us in any way you can in keeping us cleaned up. Another thing we've been getting some calls about here in City Hall is John Slidell Park. There's people concerned about the condition of the parking lots, the roads, the walking path around the park, and it's all on our radar screen. We've been working a plan at John Slidell Park for over a year now to put new lighting in the park, and we've had issues with the contractor in getting that done. The parking lots are being repaved, the streets are going to be repaved. We are actively working on repaving the hiking paths and walking trail around the park as we speak. We've been hesitant to put new driveways and parking lots down until we get all the lights up in the park and get that heavy equipment out of there. We don't want to destroy new pavement by putting heavy equipment on it right at the beginning of its lifespan. So bear with us. We have new sidewalks, driveways, parking spaces. They're coming. We're working on that. We've got new lighting coming, new pavilions, new field lights for the baseball fields. We're going to beautify the entrance, upgrade the plantings and the fencing at the entrance of the park, and we're going to be enhancing Pearl's Garden back in the park area by the concession stands. That's a park that's a commemorative park for Councilwoman Pearl Williams, who passed away several years ago. That park was dedicated to her memory. So we're working on restoring the drainage in that and restoring some of the camellias and plants and flora and fauna in there and dressing that up. So there's big things coming for John Slidell Park, and I know it seems like it's been neglected. It hasn't been neglected. We've just been trying to get around this contractor, getting them in the park and getting them out before we cause any additional problems. So bear with us. So with that, that's the majority of the big things that are going on around the community. We're still on a semi-lockdown, if you will. Not many activities in our parks. No activities of any consequence in our auditorium, other than this weekend we have the Camellia Festival, which will be indoors and outdoors at the John Slidell at the auditorium across the street here from City Hall. So take advantage of that if you get a chance to get out. Stay socially distanced, wear your mask, do not gather in big crowds. So that's a good lead into our last segment for this video, and that's with Dr. Chuck Preston, our coroner, beloved Dr. D here in the community. Always has good information to share with us about what's going on as far as COVID, steps and actions you can take to take care of yourself and your family and those that are around you. So Dr. Chuck, if you will, clue us in.
Well, thank you, Greg, and I'm really happy that I am seeing you at your office rather than seeing you at my office. You make a very, very, very excellent point that no matter how careful you are, these are mitigation measures, but there is no bulletproof vest against respiratory droplets with viral particles in it. Just as has been predicted and we expected, behind that triple crown holidays of Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, the case rate has really soared as we expected. And to kind of put it in perspective, back in April, May, June, when we were being concerned, we were seeing in the order of 20 to 30 new cases a day, and that was a red flag. Now we're seeing on the order of 200 cases a day. So certainly, as we predicted after these holidays, the incidence is going up. And of course, that's a really concerning factor because, of course, the more people who are infected, the more people that can become infected by them. So again, more than ever, we like to think 2020 is in the rearview mirror and the pandemic is also, but it's not. Now is really the time to double down on mitigation efforts, to do the simple things: cover your cough, wash your hands, social distance, wear a mask, try to be kind to each other. Everybody is stressed right now. It's difficult. And again, it's not just the human consequences, but it's the economic consequences. And so for business to recover, we have got to get ahead of the pandemic. And certainly, we have a tool in the arsenal now that I think really is the greatest hope since the identification of the virus, and that's in the vaccine. And, again, the production of the vaccine was done by the private sector in a just amazing fashion, where people who are really competitors in a market worked together, shared information, and so that's how the vaccine was developed so rapidly, with assistance from the government, both financial and procedural. It went through all of the usual steps of the FDA approval. They just happened a lot quicker. And so I want folks to know the vaccine is safe. It is effective. It is our way out of the pandemic that we're in right now, and it's going to be what really is the building blocks for the financial recovery of the nation. If we want to get back to work and back open, we have to continue mitigation measures, and then as soon as possible, sign up and get in line and get your vaccine. I think as a lot of people way smarter than I predicted, the manufacturing and approval of the vaccine was not the big obstacle. It is the logistics of getting it from where it's manufactured, particularly with the Pfizer vaccine that needs sub-zero temperatures, shipped to where it's going to be distributed, then shipped to the end users who are going to administer the vaccine, and then getting the people there to actually take the vaccine. And so, again, I think that you know, we're seeing it roll out. I think the process of administration is going to get better and better. If you have questions about the vaccine, please don't go to Facebook to find your information. Go to reliable sites like cdc.gov, nih.gov, even independent search engines that will give you reliable, peer-reviewed medical information. But I am certainly on the list. I'm going to take a vaccine as soon as it is available, and I encourage everybody to try and be active and again, be patient. It's very difficult. I know that some vaccine came into Slidell last week, and I'm trying to get some of my frontline workers vaccinated, and by the time I called every pharmacy on the list, their vaccines had already been obligated. So again, there are going to be a few speed bumps, but we have to have the long vision. We have to understand that, you know, if we continue to work really hard, we're really patient, hopefully we can restore our country to normal by late 2021 or 2022.
Great. We appreciate that. You know, there's going to be a ton of questions, you know, about the vaccine. You know, or what should you expect if you take the vaccine? What are there any side effects that you know you're pretty obviously going to have, or if you take the vaccine, what should you be alarmed about if something happens?
Well, again, I think that most people who get the vaccine, just like most people who have the virus, are going to have no side effects whatsoever. You can almost anticipate that at the site of the injection, there's going to be a little redness and a little soreness because, of course, you just had a needle in your arm with a foreign substance injected into the muscle. There are likely to be some mild side effects in terms of low-grade fever, potentially body aches or headaches. You should really celebrate those kind of side effects because that tells you you have an immune system and it is working. In rare instances, there can be life-threatening allergic reactions, and so it's important to the providers who are administering the vaccines that they're prepared to take care of those reactions. But far and away for most people, it's going to be none to very mild side effects from the administration of the vaccine.
So somebody has had COVID, say in the past year or past month or whatever. I'm assuming they should get the vaccination also. Everybody
Absolutely.
should get the vaccination.
Absolutely. The immunity you get from the illness is different than the immunity that you get from the vaccine. And again, you know, so much is not known. And we don't actually know how long your natural antibodies last. And I've seen articles that have said between 30 and 90 days. But I don't think we're going to be free of COVID in 90 days. So I think it is very, very important that that people who have had the illness also get vaccinated. And you know, there's been some concern recently about mutations of the virus. Because of the way the vaccine is made, it's made against a fragment of a protein on the virus. That part has not mutated. And so we fully expect that the vaccine should be effective against the mutations as well as the first variant of the virus. You know, having said that, the concerning thing with the mutation is that it is more contagious. And so where, you know, maybe in the past we talked about an R0, the number of people one person could infect might be 2 or 3, that R0 might go to 5 or 6. And so, of course, you know, as the numbers get bigger and bigger and bigger, that population of people who are infected is just going to get greater and greater and greater. And that's really a concern. Because as those numbers grow, that's where there's going to have to be increased limits on how we gather, how we do commerce, you know, whether we can even leave the house or not. And of course, nobody wants to be in that position again. Right. So that's why it's so critical that right now we double down on all our mitigation measures: washing your hands, covering your cough, social distance, wear a mask, be nice, and try not to gather with big groups who don't have your same home address.
Gotcha. Nobody should not take the virus. I mean, the vaccine. Is there any constituent base, children or above a certain age or anything? Nothing like that?
Well, I don't think it has been approved in pediatrics. Those studies are likely ongoing. Really, the one contraindication is that you have a known allergic reaction to the vaccine. And about the only way that's going to happen is you've got a dose of the vaccine, you had an allergic reaction, and so you're not going to get that second dose. Right. Again, that's not ideal. I believe after the first dose, it's something like 65% effective, and after the second dose, it's like 95% effective. So we'd like to get both doses on board, but again, the risk and benefit, if they've had an allergic reaction, then they're not going to get the second dose.
Great. Well, thank you so much for the information. Thank you for being with us today. It's always a pleasure to have you here in City Hall and sharing your knowledge of what's going on in the community with COVID. It is something that none of us are immune to at this point. If you've had the vaccination, you've got some immunity at that point. But if you've not had the vaccination and you're walking around in the streets amongst people, there's a chance that you're going to be exposed. Believe me, I was being as careful as I could be, and I was exposed, and it filtered through my home. My wife and I both had COVID same time, which if you're going to be quarantined and you live with somebody, it's really good that you're quarantining together, because it's not nearly as onerous to be tied off in one end of the house and your spouse in the other trying to stay away from you. So be cognizant of what's going on around you. So there you have it, Slidell, with what's going on in the community. You know, be aware of litter in Slidell and help us police that up as best you can. John Slidell Park is being worked on as we speak, and there's big plans to get that park in real good shape before the end of this year for sure. But hopefully in the spring we'll see the lights going up and everything will be rounding out there for a good summer out there. Just general information about what's going on in the community this weekend. I did say that the Camellia Festival will be across the street in the auditorium. If you do venture into the Camellia Festival, there'll be flower displays inside and outside. Avoid crowds. Take your little family group with you. Stay close to them. Stay distanced from everybody else. The other event that we will have Monday is the annual Martin Luther King Memorial, and Tabernacle Baptist Church up here off of Sergeant Alfred has a ceremony at 1 o'clock on Monday with a service, memorial service, prayer, scripture, song. There at that service, you're going to be required to mask. You're going to be required to social distance. And we're going to ask that you stay within your family groups also there, and not have the normal activities that we have in the church, the banquet and things of that nature. We will not be able to have a march that day, but we will have all of the other memorial celebration for Dr. King and his legacy. So if you're not able to attend that, say your prayers at home, and thank the good Lord for the legacy of Dr. King on that particular day. So with that, Slidell, we're going to sign off from City Hall. Dr. Preston, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Look forward to seeing you again real soon. Like I say, I'm back in the saddle again, so we'll be doing this again, if not this week, for sure next week. Have a good day, Slidell.